everyone. This is Danny from the Cairns Student Hub, and today we have a special guest. This is Arelys. She is a student. She was studying here for a while in Cairns, and today she wants to share a little bit about her process, transfer her studies and qualifications as a civil engineer. And she wants, yes, to share her experience, some tips, what are the pros and cons in this process, what other students should thinking about twice. Of course, each experience and profession is different, and this is a general advice, but why not to share with other students? So welcome, Arelys. Please tell us a little bit about yourself. What are you doing?
Hello, everyone. As Danny said, I am Arelys. I'm from Colombia and Mexico. I came to Australia, yes, two years ago, a little more, maybe 26 months ago. And I was studying in Cairns for about 1.5 years, English, general English. And then, of course, all that process of about the COVID and everything that is still happening now. So I decided to start my process to get my assessments here in Australia, thinking in the future, thinking in taking advantage of the time that I had available by that time before. So I start at a point to check in everywhere, like on Facebook, in different groups, in Engineers Australia, and a lot of stuff that you can find online. So I decided to start the process by myself, and I got my assessments in a period of 6 months. So I want to share with you guys, because being in a country that is not our country and with the language as a barrier, we feel afraid sometimes, but we can do that. So this is all that I have to share with you, and all my experience, and through the Student Hub, who always is trying to help all of us. So that's it.
So yes, you have mentioned already two important things. Now that maybe the situation is not normal, or is a new normal, is the important thing to take advantage of the time and start searching. Of course, it's important that you understand that this is not migration advice. This is just share what Arelys did, how was her process, and that can help the students to understand a little bit, because this is, of course, this is a job that should be done by a professional. However, you need to understand how is the process. You need to do your homework, because it's not just to go to an office and pay an amount for get the assessment and that's it. No, because you need to understand what documents you need, how should be those documents. So that is what we're going to talk about today, how you can be ready and how you can make easier this process for you, because could be a little stressful process for sure.
Yes, definitely, and it is very important, because I think it's necessary. Some people, they don't feel confident doing that by themselves, and it's okay. In my case, my big advantage was that process already, I did that process in Mexico, so I can tell you that maybe 70% of the documents I already had, and I only sent to the translator. And so for this reason, maybe I can advance more on that point, but it's very important. But as you said, taking an advice from a professional is important, but you have to have the information by yourself more, because the professional, the lawyer, he is going to have a general information, but in our field, that is a civil engineer, a construction area, so they have to research more about that. So if you have that information, you can tell them, I have found that information, this one, this second one. So it's important, it's important.
Exactly. That's why I said you need to do your homework, because what happened here in Australia, maybe the job that you have done is called different. So you need to make it easier for yourself and for the process to understand how was your experience, which things you did, what was your responsibilities, the studies. So maybe in your country was called in a different name, and here is another name. So that's why you need to be involved in the process. And yes, do your homework and do as much as you can and be involved on that.
Yes, for sure.
All right. So Arelys did a very good presentation, and she's gonna share with us that presentation to explain you guys how was her process. Okay, so this is the presentation that Arelys made. So let's talk about this.
Okay, this presentation is about the skills assessment for migration purpose, as we mentioned it before, and it's more in the construction and engineering areas. This presentation has been made by this month, August. This information can change because the government is changing every time, every month, not every month, but yeah, release doing some change. So it's about that date.
Yeah, so here she emphasized about this construction and engineer, because depends of your industry, position, career, are different process and documents are something that could be general, but then going through the process are specific things, and it are different industries who do this assessment, depends of your career. But we're gonna talk about that later on.
The immigration skill assessment is the program is direct for applicants who are thinking in migrate to Australia, and it's information that is public for free. You can consult on their own page of the government, and these skills determines if you have the skills and the experience necessary for work in Australia in certain record level of your occupation. So here in Australia, the government thinks more about occupation before than careers, that you study a bachelor, because it's more that they are needed for supply the force work that they need.
All right, so see, yes, this is for those people who have already a career and experience at home, and maybe because was at home, they need to transfer those skills and experience here in Australia to be qualified for some jobs or for immigration purpose.
Yeah, correct. The jobs by occupation, as you can see in the left side, is for manager, professional, technician, and trade workers, community and personal service workers, clerical and administrative workers, sales workers, machinery and operator and drivers, and laborers. So they have different classifications, and they offer a list thinking about the medium and long-term skill assessment that is more for bachelors or highly qualified people. Now, because of coronavirus, they have a priority immigration skill occupation list. They are giving a priority to give the visa or the assessment, every process. And as well, there are some lists, occupation lists for like a regional areas.
Yes.
In this case,
so the last one about the regional are specific lists for those areas that are called regional, that are not big cities, because they have a specific requirements about the staff. So that's why it's a different list.
Okay, thinking about the construction and engineering areas, I have to do like a short list, in a medium and long-term strategic list, and short-term, and in this case for Queensland, what is now on the list. And as well, I'm showing some trades occupation, because some people is going to study that kind of things, and it's okay, or they have some experience on that. So in the medium and long term, it is a construction project management, We have the ANSCO code, that is Australia and New Zealand's code, that they use the same occupations. And what is the authority that you have to do the process to get your skills positives?
So here I think is because maybe it's a lot of civil engineer. Your education, you are graduated as a civil engineer. However, your experience is gonna be specific in one industry or area. So maybe a civil engineer can have different options or like a jobs opportunities, but your experience is more related about as an architect. So here is when you need to check what is your position, what is your experience related with. And the ANSCO code is about which level of studies they reported as a minimum, and as well what experience they need as a minimum, and then check with the specific authority to assess your experience and status.
Yes, that's correct. That's correct, because we in South America, as a civil engineer, so we have a very big areas where we can work, but not here in Australia. Australia is very specific, and the definition for them as a civil engineer is another concept than for us. So it is important. But you can go next, because I did as well a comparison. I'm not going through everyone, but I want to show you, and I have hats on yellow color in a medium and long term, as for example, the construction project management. It could be an architect, it could be a civil engineer, it could be another profession that you study in South America or in another country. But being in a construction project management needs that you have worked with that description that is on the list. And the description is more that they are looking after projects. So in the short term, we have the architectural, building, and surveying technician. My recommendation, my personal recommendation is, if you have that experience as a construction project management, because you have developed that scope or that duties in your jobs, in your job experience, you can do the process if you are in a regional area, if you are in Cairns or North Queensland or in another small areas, you could do your process with that occupation as architectural building, because if you get your assessment positives, you can get a job easily. Why? Because for a process of the visa, if you are asking to the government, give me the visa for skilled, and now they are asking that you have to be working on your occupation, it's more difficult to get a job as a construction project management than architectural building. So this page is going to be available on the presentation, and you can read through every occupation and the occupation lists that are on that group. Well, it means that, for example, you are a civil engineer, but if you have experience as geotechnical, quantity surveyor, a structural engineer, or transport engineer, you can have your assessment positives as a civil engineer.
So, you know, what is important here, sometimes it's not about the title of your position that you did. It's more about the description of the functions and responsibilities that you have done. So there is when it's really important that your CV is properly set up. So I just want to remind you that we can help you with that, because maybe in your country, this description, the name of the position is a different name, but at the end of the day, the description is the same. So how we really know? When the immigration agent have a look at your resume and they really go through the responsibilities and duties that you have done. So that's why it's really important that your resume is properly set up to really define which one is the occupation for you here in Australia.
Yes. And I understand that sometimes our ego, we said, no, but I'm a civil engineer, but I am a construction project management. But yes, okay, we are in Australia and we are starting our careers here. And it's nothing about the title is changed. It's more about what are you going to do to the company? What are you going to offer with your skills?
Yes, and you know, another thing is maybe you would like to be skilled as one position, but maybe the experience that you have done is more related with another role. Or maybe you may have the options between two positions. So that is when you need to have a look as well what the market needs.
Definitely. If you are talking about, for example, North Queensland, that area, there need a lot of like a supervisor, building supervisor, that it could be for people who has studied like architecture, but they have experience on work site. So it's looking that option. So be aware as well what the market is needed, because if not, you are going to die trying to get a job on your profession.
Yes, because it's not just to transfer the skills, it's what you're gonna do with that. How it's gonna help you, because of course it's a process that you need to pay, to spend time, organize document, but after that, what are you gonna do with that outcome? So you need as well have a look what is needed in the market and what any other additional requirements they may need. Maybe they need a certificate or a registration. So yeah, that's why it's important that you do your homework.
Yes, in medium and long-term skill list, most of them need a registration in most of the cases, you know, and it's a problem ahead. When you now you have got your assessment positive, okay, next step, get a job or get the visa, the skilled working visa, okay. So look ahead what problems or what other requirements you are going to
yes. Yes, because yes, it's about to search the right information, because you can do that the registration and be ready once all the process is done. Be ready to looking for a job.
Okay. The authorities we have to do the process that is authorities that the government has said. Okay, they are going to say if you are qualified, if you have got the skills that we need. And they are going to compare. It's important here, they're going to compare our bachelor in South America, we study for 5 years, and here maybe 4 years or 3. But the thing is, in the high school, they have one level more, that is 12. We only have 11. So in that case, they are compensating because the students here, they study for 1 year with more focus in one career. So this is why they are comparing how many years have we studied and how many years is here in Australia. So that list is only what is the authorities. So we have to do our process.
And so that is for all engineers? Or for
yes, about the list that I presented before. In that list, in that table, is who is going to certify or give you the skill assessment. But it's according to the occupation. Every occupation has only one authority. We don't have to do or go through everyone. It's only because if there is some student that they have studied like a quantity surveyor, they have to go to the second one, the Australian Institute of Quantity Surveyor. You know, it's for the case. It's because I have got all the engineering and construction area, and if there is some student that have studied that, okay, or the trade qualification as well, because maybe some people have experience on painting or plastering from their countries or here, even here, and they could get the assessment positives.
So, yes, because for example, I know, if I'm not wrong, for someone who is studying be a chef, that is beta says. So yes, of course, it's related with your profession.
Yes, it's related. Yes, every occupation has one authority, only one. It's only, and it was the list for the authority. Okay, now I will show you my process. I did my process and I got my skill assessment positive as a construction project management. I studied in Colombia. I did like 3 years technician or technologist in construction. And then I finished my bachelor, and then I did a master in Mexico, and yes, that's it. So, and my experience was like for 8 years in Mexico as a construction project management. For this reason, I decided to take that way, construction project management, because my studies plus my experience on my scope, my duties on my experience allowed me to apply for that. So this is the process in BETACS. BETACS, that is the authority for construction project management. So first of all, they are going to ask for identification documents, and it's not more than the passport or ID document, a photography, and a resume. Second, they are going to ask for the license. What kind of license have you got? Usually, for example, when you finish your bachelor, you get a professional ID. It is the kind of license that they are asking for. And in other cases, some license, if they are required, you can attach that file as well. We have a qualification document. So you are going to ask for studies that you have done overseas. And the employment document. The employment. Yeah.
Sorry, sweetheart. I just want to mention about the qualifications documents. For those ones that are already here, or those ones that are thinking to come to study here after the borders are open, I highly recommend you to start getting those documents. Even that you're not gonna do this process right now, but that if you don't have it, to get those documents can take a while.
Okay, going ahead, and the employment documents, there are 3 parts important. Is when you have had experience, and depends, of course, on the situation, the occupation. You have to show all that information if you have experience. If not, because it's another level, you haven't worked on your profession as well. It's another pathway different to this one. Okay.
But it's possible. I mean, it's possible just.
Yes. Okay. There are some occupation that they are not asking for experience, and even though in Engineers Australia, for people who has finished their university, they can do a kind of, it's like an essay of some subjects. They say, okay, you have to send 3 or 4 subjects essays, and yes, people do that, and they get, of course, they're not going to get years of experience in a field, but they are going to get the, okay, you have the skills because of your studies. Yes, it's possible in that case, in some occupations. And managers is not, they are asking for bachelor, highly relevant studies, and experience at least 1 year in the last 5 years. Yes, they have more
requirements. Yes.
Yeah, requirements. Yeah. Okay. Next. Okay, so here the identification documents, as I mentioned before, is one for BETACS. I repeat, it's for BETACS process. One is, but it's similar for Engineers Australia. One is in passport size photographer, birth certificate, or passport page. The applicant declaration, you have to print, and you have to sign, and you have to upload again the document, that declaration. And the online payment, you can do that online. The license, okay, as I mentioned, professional membership or professional registration. And qualification documents. So there are the grades that the government here can say, okay, can be like a proof that you have studied. So if you have done some technician degree, or is more here, if we compare, it's more a diploma here. If you have done the bachelor degree in your country, that they are going to compare with a bachelor here. In South America, we do something like a specialization, but it doesn't matter here. But if you have the information, you can upload. Who knows? But they are going, no, they are not going to give any recognition for that. The other grade is the master degree, and the doctorate degree as well. For all of those, you have to upload the hour certificates, that is like the physical diploma that they give you when you finished, the transcripts that they are the subjects that you did, what your score in each one, how many credits did you get for each subject, and the scale. So because you get I don't know, for say a subject introduction, I got a 4. For what? They need to know what is the maximum score. If the maximum score is 5, okay, it is the comparison. So it is important that the transcript has that information.
I have a question about the translations.
Yeah.
Must to be native translations, or can be official translations? So someone can
official, and even though can be from your own country or another country.
So yes, that is another suggestions, because here in Australia, they have something called native translations that are like the professional who do the translation, and could be a little more expensive if you do it here. But if you translate those documents at home with an official translator, should be fine. So as soon as originals, and I mean, the scanner is in color and clear.
It's right. And the other things that most of the people do, they don't, is the syllabus, but there is the space or the key when you have to upload. The syllabus is the content of the old subject. So every subject says
all the description of the issue.
And it's a big book, it's a big PDF, usually the university share, but you don't have to translate it, because usually there are 100 of pages.
Yeah, actually, I have an experience that was so big that they cannot send by email. They give us a CD, because it's for each subject. They're gonna give you the description of the subject, so it's huge document.
Yeah, and you are allowed to upload files no more than 5 megas. MP, I don't remember the size, but you have a limit on the size of the file. So usually you have to compact that file because it's too big, the syllabus. But I strongly recommend that you upload and you get, because the university is going to get you. If you ask, of course, the university, when you study, is not going to share only, oh yes, no. If you ask, they are going to share.
Yes, another thing is what happened with this organization who do the assessments. They show you what are the documents, and it's your responsibility to submit the whole and as much information you have, because they don't have to say, hey, Arelys is missing something, because they are in some point they could assume that you don't have that document.
Yes, but they usually, in my case, for example, my process took 6 months. In my case, they ask 3 times for different information, because, for example, in my technician, I think, yes, I only upload the Howard, and I didn't upload the transcript. I thought that it wasn't important because I upload the bachelor, so I thought, oh, it's more important the bachelor, but they asked. And they gave me 15 days. They said you have 15 days to upload that.
So if you could do everything in advance from the beginning.
Yes, sure. Yes, because I think 6 months. I have a friend of mine. She's in Sydney now. It took 1 month because she had all the information. 1 month, and it was 2 months ago. So fast, very fast, and it's okay. And now they are giving a lot of opportunities for that areas because they're in high demand and they are needed a lot. So
yes, it's true.
Yeah. Down on the page there is a example that is my example. So how it looks, the document. Okay. Employment document. The statement of service is no more than a letter. The letter has to be signed by a human resource director or
someone up. that from your
up,
from
a
position.
level up of your position, exactly. And it has to have the contact number reference where they can call, the exact period of employment, when you start, when you finished. It is so important because they're going to count month by month.
Something that as well you need to include it in your resume, like the exactly date that you start and the exactly date that you finish.
Yeah.
For studies and for job experience.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, the required working hours per week is important because for Australian government, they are going to count works that where you work more than 20 hours per week. So if you work, usually, yes, it's full time for them, more than 20 hours. Yeah. And for us, we work like 48, so it's too much, but they are going to count as a full time. If that job was full time or part time, what was the position, the name of the position, and 5 duties that you did, that you have. So in that way, they are going to compare the occupation with the.
All right. So 5, you mean minimum 5 or maximum 5? Or
I think for migration purpose, 5. Even though because on the platform, they are going to give you 5 spaces. In this case, yes, with 5 is okay. No less than that. They need 5 at least. In this case. And how much did you earn? What was your salary?
All right.
Okay. And next, payment evidence. As a payment evidence, because you are saying on the letter, they are saying how much did you earn each month or each week? What is the period, each week or fortnight or monthly or every 2 months or what's by contract? No, what is the case, each case? So the payment evidence, you have to show that you received that money.
What happened if it's cash? Because in Latin America, it's still a lot of cash.
Okay, could be, okay, if it's cash, but it's very difficult, I know, but could be, I would recommend if you had a contract, you can support with a contract, no? Or maybe it's too old as well, because by that time, maybe 10 years ago, it was normal paying by cash, on cash, it was normal, but maybe it's too old, the experience, maybe with a contract, a copy of the contract, because or in another cases, if you have like, that is here, like superannuation, it's called here, but it's very important. Mostly if you don't have all pay slips, but if it's in cash, sometimes they don't give you pay slip, you know? So it's very informal.
The important thing here is, yes, you need to have the evidence of the payment. And what I understand is you need to show minimum 3 types of evidence, payment evidence, because anyone can lie. Anyone can say, yes, I work in this company, but they need to see that is real. So that's why they asking for that evidence. So anyway, here is the information, and then you need to think and realize if you can really show that, or if unfortunately
they are going to follow. They are going to follow every way, and they are going to check, because maybe you can submit now one document, they can ask for another document, so and have to be current everything. So yes, this all have to be better.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So superannuation, pay slips, payment summary for taxation from the company could be, or bank statements. In my case, because I had all that information, but not, yes, from 10 years ago, in my bed, but it was because for another reasons I had. So I attached like 3 statements for each year, and in the statement it says the name of the company. So it's according with the letter of the company, because the letter said she worked for 3 years. Okay, at least 3 statements. firstly, the first month, next year, and the last month. So they can check that.
Yes,
Really
what they say is you need to show 3 bank statements of the period that you have worked.
Next one, organizational chart. So the depends. Depends.
So,
Organizational chart. Yeah. Yeah. The organizational chart I'm showing because it is necessary for management position, but if you can have that, it's okay, it's better. Depends on the position, of course, a painter, so it's not necessary, but some position or some occupation, it is important. What is my recommendation? You have to show all the levels that were up you and down you. And the important thing, because it was one of that they asked for me for that, was put the name of the employees. When we can look at your position, where are you? What is the name of the employers that were down you? So I had to do that because I got my organizational chart first. Sorry?
This one is for each company that you have worked before?
Yes. Yes, because they are going to say in the letter, in the outcome letter, assessment positive, they're going to say, this company positives for 1 year or for 2.3 years for each company. And in that way, they're going to add 1 year plus 3 years plus 4 years, total 7 years. And it's important to tell that Beta says they are going to they're going to take out 1 year. Because you say I'm construction project management since 2011. I was the first year that you got that position. So I'm going to accept project management from 2012, because this year was the year that you needed to get the experience. So if you have been working for about 4 years, they're going to say, yes, you are only 3.
All right.
So yes, for each company, you have to do that. Okay.
All right, so looks like we are done. Thank you very much. Of course, I just want to mention it again. This is the experience that Arelys did under the position of civil engineer. We are no migration agents. These informations can change. It's just to make it easier for you to understand a little bit how is the process. But anyway, this information is online and you can check it. You can see if it's any updated. It's just to understand a little like a behind the scenes how it's working, and to be aware of the documents that you need, to be aware of the process, how long can take, and what was like her experience. And I don't know if you would like to share any positive things or negative, any tips for them.
Well, maybe the thing is decide to start. Maybe sometimes we are not sure about that, but once you decide, make your plan and give time for every part. Other thing maybe I will advise about choosing a translator. Yes, I have a very good experience. I waste a little of time, maybe 1 month, but it's okay. It's part of the process and the learning. Be aware as well, as Danny said from the beginning, so what is your occupation and what is the area when you are or are you planning to be, and work on that way. So choose the occupation where you can support all the information and when you can think that you are going to get a visa and a job on that. What else?
I think of course it's a long process, but as Arely say, as soon as you start, etc. Why? Because you will understand a little more how it's working. You can ask to the companies if you're already in Australia and you need to get that documents from overseas. The communication is not that fast when we can go and face to face asking for the things. So the soon as you start, as better, and yes,
yeah,
when you start this process and start looking and searching for that information, you will understand more and everything is going to make more sense, and you will say, I know I will need better this document than the other one because each case is different, each experience is different. So anyway, we need to do it.
yes, definitely. Yes, and we are here, so we don't have anything to lose and too much to win. So let's do that. And I know as well that we have to pay for that, but it's sometimes part of the cost. None of the life is maybe in the future you are going to be retributed by them. So yes, let's do that and put all your effort on get it done, because otherwise you are going to waste time and the age. We are getting old as well, and in the future things are changing, so it's better being ready for any opportunity.
Yes, I mean, of course, this takes time, but we need to start somewhere. And the first recommendation is everything starts from your CV, because from there, you can see what is the description of the things that you have done, and then relate it with a job position. So one more time, I want to invite you to book an appointment with Tatiana. She will sit down with you and go through all your resume and make it better. And then as well, we can help with migration appointment for free for the first time for students here studying in Cairns.
Perfect.
All right, and Arelys, thank you very much for your time, for sharing your experience. As well as students, if you have any other question or something, just contact me, and Arelys as well is happy to share or answer any specific questions. If it's inside of her scope, otherwise we can as well help with the immigration agent, and because as we mentioned, this is her experience as an international student. She is no migration agent or something like that. She just wants to help the student community sharing her experience.
Yeah, perfect.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for the time.
Okay.
Lovely to see you,
Okay.
and see you next time, guys. Bye-bye.